Hey guys, M12 Warthog Gaming here. I'm back with another episode of Strategy Guide, and I'm going to turn down the volume because on my end it's a bit loud. Now in this one we are doing Attack of the Barbarians scenario on the original Mediterranean sea map for Age of Conquest 4. Now for this one I'm going to play as the Kingdom of the Vandals for this one, but before you get into that, I want to go over some of the details of why I picked this one and not a territory that has a lot more land or almost as much land as me. There are reasons for why I do everything the way I do it. Okay, so for me, I'm gonna pick Kingdom of the Vandals is because I only really need to guard the coastlines and some islands. That's pretty much all I need to do. Mainly I just need to guard this area, my capital where I start out with, which is probably gonna be this big city here, and then maybe a few down here. Along here, eventually after like 5 to 6, 7 turns I would be able to do that. For some reason I was gonna do this one online play because I realized I don't have to set a time limit, that way I can spend as much time as I want blabbling on and explaining all this to you. But that would be a bit of a problem because everyone else would get pissed at me for holding up the game, and also because, for whatever reason, it says I do not have the recent fully updated version of this. Which is kind of strange because Steam just updated this before I logged in to play. It's like, okay, before you play, we gotta get this. Now the Britons and the Saxons are definitely going to go at war with each other because that's really the only way they can expand on land unless they want to spend disembarkment fees to expand their territory everywhere else. Now, I'm doing the all-playable nations one. I think there's one where some nations aren't playable, but these are all nations playable, and this scenario is different as all of them are fully expanded. Now, the Kingdom of the Burgundies is definitely not a good spot to set out from, as you pretty much are surrounded by all sides, pretty much the Franks as well, but they could always retreat to the water with the naval force and take over this land over here if they need to. Pretty much, Kingdom of Visigoths starts out with a pretty decent amount of land. My guess is that they're going to probably go for one of these two smaller nations here, or the smaller nation here. So pretty much, the smaller nations are going to go to war against Kingdom of the Visigoths and try to preemptively strike them before Kingdom of the Visigoths preemptively strike them. Now, the ones in the middle are pretty much surrounded by multiple nations, and if you attack one and one of the other surrounding nations is allies with them, attack them, it's really not good. Early on, water acts as a natural border. Think about it this way, in U.S. history, we didn't go to war that much because, well, waters acted as a natural border. When we first developed, it took several months on a ship, and some people may not even survive the whole trip just to get over here to other parts of, like, Europe and Africa and all that stuff. Now we can just do it pretty easily. Here, it's pretty easy to travel through it, but not early on, because then you would have to spend some of your precious money, which is very valuable in getting a good start to do this. Now, Huns, the Eastern Roman Empire, or what some people call or know as the Byzantine Empire, or which later became, I think, the Byzantine Empire and all that stuff, is over here. Now, I could go with this one, but it has way too many, almost everything except for, I think, maybe 2 territories that they have are borders. Not to, like, the water, you'd have to arm everything, make sure of that, and you have, like, 2 territories right here. And I'm going to tell you, in this scenario, attack the barbarians. That means the Huns are going to will declare war on everyone, turn 1. So if you play as this, I think you become, like, you go to war with everyone turn 1. You may start with a decent amount of land, but here's the thing. They're going to go to war, they're going to go on Eastern Roman Empire, they're going to attack the Slavs here, they're going to go as far as they can. Everyone in this time will unite together to pretty much take them out first. And you don't want everyone versus you turn 1, because you're just going to get demolished. Then they could easily overpower you. 2, you can... Two, upon declaring war, they're probably going to move their leader back here, but their capital, where their leader starts, is right here. Now, probably what I'm going to do, though, I already got plans for what I'm going to do, and I'll show you when I get there, but Eastern Roman Empire, they're just going to get bum rushed right away. Maybe not this empire here, because, or the Kingdom of the Grippids, because, I might have mispronounced that, because the Huns can't attack half their territory. Matter of fact, this one's bad because their two territories are split by mountains. So if one's in danger, you can't send support there without going through someone else's territory. And it would have to be this one, because the mountains go up here and pretty much sort of act as a natural barrier for the Huns. Now, on the other hand, they're definitely going to get rushed by the Slavs, and the Slavs only have 4 territories to start out with. The Huns have way more. That means they generate more money from taxes from their people. Just don't play as any one of those, you're gonna get wrecked. The Britons, I guess, would be sort of okay if they take out the Saxons early on and just use the waters as a natural border and then expand onto land borders, like on mainland of Europe and whatnot, and attack other nations when they least expect it, or kingdoms. I think that's probably the best thing to do. For me, as long as I put like 100 troops here, 100 troops here, several 100 here, and then start to build my border on here, and then seeing as water is a natural border early on, put some troops there. Okay, so now, after that little bit of a spiel, we are going to get right into it. Kingdom of the Vandals. And we're going to join. Okay, so we start out with 100 here. Start with 200 coins. Not a bad idea. Now, all my next turns, I'm going to spend money and make a naval fleet. You see this? Kingdom of the Huns. See this little stripe line? They're at war with me. If I go to their diplomacy, they're at war, according to this map, against everyone. Don't play as them. Even I don't dare play as them early on. I'm still trying to figure out what to do in that situation. And I don't know if they have, like, if part of the scenario, if they're not allowed to diplomacy with anyone else, but, I would find out when I play the game, and I might do that off camera. Okay, so, now what I'm gonna do is actually, what am I gonna do? I know, because water acts as a natural border early on. Going to send that there, and I'm gonna make, say, 50 here. When we land, we'll just recruit more troops from the territories that we conquered. You see, I told you, early on they're going to get screwed over. Because they cannot move their leader anywhere. And they just got screwed over. And they're doing some damage to the Eastern Roman Empire. Which, technically, we have, we can unite with the common enemy. So that's what I'm going to do here. Gonna do that. Sort of just let them know. Even though that they may deny my alliance request, I'm just letting them know that I'm sending a naval fleet their way, and that it has no harmful intentions towards them, but someone else that's neighboring them that has more harmful intentions to me and you and pretty much everyone else. Okay. So at this point, people are gonna start making naval units. Seeing as they are not at war with me, I can feel free to move this over here. Now, chances are that their leader could be here if they moved it back here in time, but then they're going to want to move it here. Or when they try to start here, try to move back here, but that was not possible, so it's stuck here. And then maybe they had to move it here. I don't know. I do not know currently where their leader is. I've ignored to ally with you. Well, this is the part where diplomacy comes into play. I got a great idea. Let's request an alliance, but we're not going to bombard him with alliance proposals. No, just send him something that maybe will convince him that it's in his interest. And they have 1,000 troops. Wait, whoa. They They have 1,000 troops. Like, what? We're on the same team here, but I guess they don't want to... Wow. Did I? I'm an idiot. Move. Commander. That was a bad move on my part to actually move my commander. They accepted my help, but they don't want me to do anything. They don't want anything else. Great. Okay. I'm gonna send about 140 troops their way. Gonna get some extra land there because I think that's actually gonna be the best option for me. Okay. Apparently I couldn't do it there. Apparently they moved there first. So I'm gonna move here with the 100 as well. Gonna move my commander back there. Gonna move this here. Only 65 is not a whole lot, but we're gonna move that there. Regardless of what happens, we're going to get a territory from them. Okay, our happiness randomly increased. And now I'm gonna move this here. Okay, so we took out the Huns ourselves and we got all their extra land that the Romans wanted for themselves, which is why they didn't want to an alliance with us, because maybe they were able to see where their leader was. And now they've just declared war on me. Not a cool move, but you want to know what? It doesn't matter to me. Because I'm actually going to attack them on all fronts. I'm gonna move here and attack them. We could have been allies, but you just said nope. You didn't want that. Well, too bad. Move that there, move this here. Going to apparently this territory is extremely unhappy. I do not know why. Gonna move 100 here. And about some there. Okay. Now these guys here. What are these? Dominion of Nepos. Okay, so right now I think this is the best option. Is to make an alliance with these guys because we have a common enemy. And let's see what happens. Okay. Let me think. This is the coastline that is facing our enemies. So I'm probably just gonna protect this. Stay right here. Hope that they send us accept our offer, we're going to send some encouragement, as I call it, over to them. And a bunch of other nations just fell. Is this our territory? Yes, it is. How could I miss this? Anyway, mistakes happen. It's okay, though. Now I'm going to preemptively strike them because I know they're going to attack us with more numbers. But if I take out 81 of them, then they're probably going to have about 81 next turn. But they're not going to have 81 plus whatever they could have bought. And I guess we're now allies with this nation, which I think is... Actually, we're ahead of them. Wow, shocking. This is shocking. They're this big. And I don't like that, to be honest. We might have to, you know, go after one of them. But you wanna know what? If that's what must be done, then that's what's gonna happen. Okay. Going to move this here. Okay. So we're not going to be allies with them for long, so we're not going to lose that much happiness. Plus we're at 98, so I could care less what happens exactly. I'm going to move this up here and see where their leader is. Okay. Now that I have the funds, I want to trap him in. Sort of. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, for this to fall into play, I'm going to have this fleet here attack this territory, 100 from here attack there, and then 100 go here. That way, if we fail to get this territory where their leader is, we know that it won't be able to run here or here because we'll attack those areas. If they do move their units there, or their leader will attack the territory that's in, hopefully taking them over and getting what we need. Okay. So to get this out of the way, I'm just gonna end relations with them. They're not gonna be too happy about this. But you wanna know what? Now we're at, peace, which is a ceasefire. Which I guess is kind of good, because that gives me time to build an additional fleet. That way I can attack the surrounding areas and the current area directly. I'm going to buy 100 more, even though that I know I will not be able to send them out into a fleet yet. Okay. Now I can. I'm going to move this one here. Okay, and then I'm going to move this one here. See, the Eastern Roman Empire thought that because they were the next biggest person, that they could take me on and declare war on me. And it's not just all about how much territory you have. Also, a big part of this is how much troops can you send to fight the enemy as well. Okay, so this is going here, 100 going there, 100 going here. Wait, 100 going here, 100 going here, 100, and then 200 directly there, I think is what I'm going to do for this plan. Okay. Now let's put this into practice. Whoops! Must have accidentally clicked the wrong diplomacy button. Nope, just joking. The fall of another nation. Okay, so this is called... And this is called the net naval strike, is what I call it. Because you make a net around the area that you want to around the leader that you don't want to escape, and you make a net that you sort of entrap him in. He still is not harmed because he's in a net, and the net doesn't hurt you, it just traps you. Then you go in for the kill. And that's what I'm doing here. Although I'm doing the going in for the kill and the trapping at the same, all in the same turn. You see? And it works. Believe it or not, it works. Okay. And now I'm easily now Grand Ruler. That territory sucks, because I will not be able to buy 100 troops to protect that territory for whatever given reason. I'll just send some that way. I'm gonna move this here. Gonna move this upwards of here. Let me think. That's gonna move there. I guess I'll just move this here, and then move that there next turn. Okay. So now I gotta move this here. Okay, so now as you guys can see, I'm sort of trying to rebuild what I have over here because it sort of fell in line with the tax season, and I got a bunch of money for my troops to buy more and all that stuff. So now what I'm going to do is actually buy about 30 for this one, because I want at least 100 on the borders, plus all the naval borders. So I should technically have 100 here, even though I don't think I'm going to be attacked there exactly anytime soon. Now what I need to do is rearm these borders here. But what I'm going to do is not arm the borders here on this coastline here. Now the reason for this, except for this one and this one, is because if I put a naval fleet here and a naval fleet here, my enemies cannot go here. Of course, allies can walk on this, can have allies or people I'm in a neutral stance with can have troops on the same tile as me, and well, naval troops on the same water tiles as me, without actually having to engage in combat. It's like, oh, they're over there, we're over here, we're just doing our own thing. Not fighting each other, that kind of deal. Okay, now I'm going to put the rest onto this island here, which I think is Corsica. Okay. Well, maybe not called Corsica during the time period in which this scenario takes place, but later on it was called that. Okay. So, gonna get, let me think here. 10 more for this. Crap, I meant to do 50, not 40. That's gonna take an additional maneuver away from me, but at this point, when you're this big, you usually don't run out of stuff. Okay. That one's not gonna cost too much. Okay. So, at this point, I want to get more land, of course, as does everyone else. So I think what I'm going to do is at least arm these islands here to some extent. And what I'm going to do is try and take control of the sea here, block off access here, because once I get these 3 areas, I'm pretty much block off access with these 2 naval units here, and so forth. And then once I get pretty much the rest of Italy and this coastline here, I pretty much have control of the Mediterranean Sea, and all I just need is a naval fleet here, and no one can get into the Mediterranean unless they attack and take over one of my territories, which is something I'm going to do for another episode. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this episode of Strategy Guide. If you did, taking the time to leave any comments, questions, or feedback for me in the comment section down below would be highly appreciated, and I will see you guys later in another video. Bye-bye!